As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a...
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
BravBros. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BravBros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Birds Magoots. What's up, dude?
Birds Magoots. This is the last episode before the start of the NFL season.
Let's go.
Aside from the NFL, you know what else has been on my mind?
What's that?
The diarrhea plane situation.
Yeah, me too, actually. That's
really?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
it's
been
pretty fucking wild.
Stuck on that, and then there was another story the same day that an airline kicked two people off because they refused to sit in seats covered in vomit.
Wow.
That was the same day.
Wow.
It's a big day for airlines.
Big day for airlines. I really don't know what to think about it. I loved that the biohazard stuff came out first, and you're like, you got to figure out how bad was it, and then the pictures came out. You're like, holy shit.
Well, for
Literally.
for a flight to be redirected because of poop, you know it has to be like they were going to Barcelona. It was international.
I know, but like, it must have happened early enough that they were able to turn around. But what do you think happens? Because it was up and down the aisles.
All right, so I have two guesses. Okay, the first one is more rational and not as fun. Somebody was just really sick and they were just trying to they needed to get to Barcelona, right?
Yeah.
I have to get on this vacation. We've been planning it for a year and a half. Like,
Free
I gotta-
healthcare, maybe?
No, oh, that's an interesting
Yeah.
take, but let me get through this. So they're just trying to muscle through it to get to Barcelona, and then they can heal up there. They just got to make the flight. They know they got to make the flight. They're going to do whatever they can. They gave it their best shot, gambled and lost.
Yeah.
That's my first option.
Okay.
Option two is more fun. I forget where they flew out
Gambled
of.
with what, though? Like a dicey fart?
You never heard that phrase, gambled and lost?
Yeah.
That's what my
but, like,
mom used to
there's so
say.
much that it's just like it's like a bodily control or lack
No,
thereof.
I know. That's when my second one comes in.
Okay.
Someone had a huge night out. Remember, they had a flight to Barcelona, went straight from wherever they were partying to the plane, and realized, oh God, I am in shambles, and gambled and lost. And
Yeah.
once they open the seal, then it's game over.
I guess.
TMI,
I
but
don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be TMI. I mean, I think my logical response is it was a child or like some sort of kid.
No,
that
no,
didn't
that
know any
much
better?
poo. No way.
But maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to think like adults can control their bowels for the most part,
Not
right?
if you are actually sick. I love that we're starting off this way.
Yeah.
But if you're actually like,
Well, it's been stuck in my head.
sick, if you're really sick, no, like
Okay.
shit happens.
Literally.
I know.
Wow.
Where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, that is actually probably really true. God, it must have smelled so bad on that.
I don't want to
plane.
do this. I don't want to
even
keep talking
know.
about this.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, I want to move on.
You-
We
you wanna
broke it
slide
down.
on.
We stop. We broke it down. Let's move
I'm
forward.
picturing a big fat guy running through with like some and one style shorts, like those loose fitting shorts.
Why?
And it just comes out. It's just everywhere.
Okay.
It was
I
all over the
was-
plane. Like at least maybe from your seat to the bathroom makes a little bit of sense, but it was all up and down the aisles.
if
Like,
you're
it could have been a
panicking-
terrorist, a biohazard diarrhea terrorist.
What if he was panicking and he ran to there's like multiple bathrooms.
yeah,
It's an
that's
international
true,
flight.
yeah.
So there's probably, sometimes you get the bathroom in the middle of the plane, the rear of the plane, and the front of the plane. So maybe he was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Sprinted to the back of the plane, no go. Starts sprinting that's it. That's what happened.
Okay.
By the time he had control, by the time he got to the back bathroom and realized it was a no-go.
Oh, it's one of those situations where like
Yeah.
you're holding, and then as soon as
So
you get close to the
close,
bathroom, you're
yep.
like, all right, I'm ready.
and
Oh, no.
the door was locked. And then he went full panic mode, full sprint to the front of the plane whilst pooping. And there you go.
I do think we need more bathrooms on planes.
You're very
That's where we come. That's where I got to this. Whatever. Let's
It's
move
a
on.
new platform. I was looking forward to talking about Eagles football since the start of the season's
yeah.
on Sunday, but that was a much better cold open,
Yep.
if you will.
Yep.
It's more like a hot open, but
Heyo.
anyway, we're back in the studio. We had back-to-back recording days because some idiot had a birthday on Tuesday and threw everything off for the week. But as you mentioned in yesterday's episode, we're going to have to figure out our logistics again.
I,
and-
of course, just starting off with a bang. I was wrong about Southern Charm. It starts next week.
Oh, it does? That's on Thursday, though?
Yeah, it's still Thursday.
Thursday one messes me up,
I
man.
know.
Whatever. We'll get to the bottom. You, our listeners, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.
Just look at the item description before you click.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, click all of them.
We'll figure
listen
it
to
out.
everything.
We'll
but-
figure it out. But the only thing that I want to talk about before we do our Rose and Thorn, since we did news yesterday, more stuff keeps coming Carl and Lindsay, coming up about Carl
Yep.
and Lindsay. There is so much speculation. So there was a blind item from Dumois that came out. And I guess, according to this person, and it's not verified at all, but according to this blind item, Carl had something going on with another woman, and apparently there was a pregnancy scare. And then I also heard inklings of a potential miscarriage. And obviously, we don't want to speculate on anything like that. I'm more just mentioning it to highlight how much speculation there is on both sides of the street. We do not know what happened.
We have no idea. We may never know what happens, depending on how much they keep private. I saw the post from Dumois, and instantly I completely just skipped past it because, again, it's just rumors and nobody really knows. I wonder the filter process that Dumois must have.
I was wondering the
How
same
many fucking
thing.
people? There's got to be thousands of people every day that sends these crazy text messages that don't look legit. And they have to go comb through everything and figure out, like, all right, which one are we pushing today? Is this legit? Like, at what
But they're
level do
on
they
a
say?
lot.
Yeah, but like I can create a contact in my phone if I happen to know Carl's phone number for some reason. I can create a contact in my phone that just says Carl's phone number is the name, and it would show up in a text message like that.
Oh no, I get
As if it was
that.
Carl doing that. It's like you can fabricate pretty much anything you want and send it to Dumois and then hope and pray that it goes on there and then tell your friends, like, oh yeah, this is it's got to be a nightmare trying to go through all that.
I can't even imagine. I'm more giving them credit because the blind items they do tend to push tend to pan out.
They do for the most part. Yeah, they are really good at that.
And I also don't want to piss them off because then there's going to be blind items about me and you, and I don't want to get into that.
There's no blind items here.
But let's move on to our rose and thorn. We didn't have a ton of thorns. And I mean, the collective rose is the birds are back, baby. Sunday, we get Eagles football again. All is right in the world. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
But that's the all encompassing rose. Why don't you start us off with your rose and thorn for the week?
Okay. I actually have a thorn.
Oh, really? I like that.
Which is, it's funny because it was a 5-star review. But
Oh,
the thorn is for the Kate Casey interview. A couple of people were saying, don't have guests on because Kate Casey was cutting you off or talking too much or whatever. I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like when I listen to other podcasts, I like to hear from the guest more than the host.
yeah, I do
The
too.
whole point of a guest being on the show is to give their insight.
Yep.
And then we kind of ask, pointed questions, try to direct it, do this and that, and facilitate. And then we give our opinions in there. And it's just kind of a vibe going back and forth.
Sure.
I never thought once that she was talking too much or
No.
talked over us at all. I thought that, we were just interviewing her and just kind of trying to pick her brain or
Well,
whatever.
The thing
So
with Kate, and we love Kate. This is the second time
I think
that
it's
we've
just
done
we have
something
such a
with
good rapport with her as soon as we start talking.
her. Yeah.
That it's honestly, that's how every friend conversation
Well,
goes.
the other part that I think is important and why we enjoy having her on, it's a very different approach to how we watch the shows. Like she's very analytical. She
Yep.
looks at, the psyche of the cast, and we do a little bit, but it's just I think it's important to have different takes. And I think something that we do well, not to toot our own horn here, but I think that we do a good job of when we have guests on. Like, I want their take. Like you just said, I
Right.
want to hear what you think, and then we will comment on that. We'll give you our opinion on it, but you're here to give your take. It's our job to facilitate that. I thought the interview was great. She's
Yeah.
always a pleasure.
Well, I think part of it is in my mind, you and I put out 3 hours worth of content a week.
Yeah.
Where we talk nonstop.
Yeah, I'm sick of you.
You guys don't want to break?
Yeah, come on.
Seriously?
I want to
You-
break from Shooter.
I know. I want to break from everything. You want to listen to us constantly. Even in that week, we still had another episode that was an hour and a half, an hour 40 minutes or whatever, talking about all the other shows.
This is a
So-
great marketing ploy. Talking.
Oh, I know.
Stop listening to us.
Stop listening to us, idiots. No, it's not stop, but it's just all right, you get a little bit of a break here. The funny thing is, if we ever have Lisa Barlow on, she's just going to talk so much.
Dude, I just messaged her because we talked to her last season to get her
Yeah,
on. and
yeah.
It didn't work out because shit got so crazy and they started, that's when
Yeah, now that
Bravo-
Jen's gone and stuff, it'll die down a week.
Well, yeah, and that's when Bravo started barring housewives from going on
Right.
podcasts, so we got shut down. But hopefully
Fucking
she comes on.
gatekeepers.
Yeah, fucking Bravo gatekeepers.
All right, well, let me get to my rose. My rose comes from our good friend Los.
Welcome back, Los.
I saw Los respond to one of the questions. I don't know if he did it yesterday or today, but he asked, "Are the Bros going to do a live review of the Slim Chicken 2.0 being sold at the Eagle Stadium?" How the fuck does Los know what's being sold at our stadium?
He's a Philly fan. He wears a Phillies
He
jersey.
does, but he also didn't stick around long enough in Philly to go He didn't go to our show.
I know.
He didn't
I
stick
still
around. He
feel
only
a
went.
certain
He
way
came to
about it.
Philly for Beyonce. He didn't come to Philly for us. He would have messaged us.
So let me just get this straight. I'm on your team here.
Do you know what the
100%.
Slim Chicken 2.0 sandwich
I
is?
don't. So I feel like even worse that Lois knows what it is and I don't.
Yeah, see,
but
that's what I'm saying.
and again, on your team.
Yep.
Team shoots.
Well, this
But
is also
are you
a roast.
comparing us to Beyonce?
Yes. Yeah,
Wow.
for sure. So no, it's a rose because it's funny that he's asking about that, and obviously it makes us think about the Eagles Stadium.
Sure.
The Slim Chicken 2.0 is a fried chicken sandwich, but the chicken is breaded with cornflakes,
Oh, I like that.
which is nice. Well, hold on, there's more.
Oh.
It is topped with candied bacon,
Okay.
and then instead of buns, they're apple fritters.
No, I'm out.
I'm gonna try it.
I'll try.
There's
it.
honey on top too. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's apple fritters and ghost chili pepper sauce.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm
it'll
out.
have like a bit of a kick and some sweetness or whatever. I think I'm probably gonna go to the game next Thursday, so I will report back unless that line is a fucking
I can
nightmare.
already taste it. It's too greasy. I don't. You know me. I don't like gimmicky food.
Yeah.
Gimmicky food is not my thing.
It
bugs
also
me.
just doesn't sound like something I'm gonna want to eat after 15 to 20 beers in the parking lot.
Yeah. Then you're gonna wash it down with an apple fritter and ghost chili pepper sauce.
No, it's usually
ah.
like I have a go-to. It's either just chicken fingers from Chicky and Pete's with Chicky's fries, or a full-on cheesesteak and
Yeah,
also
you gotta
Chicky's
stick
fries.
to
Always Chicky's fries.
You
It's
can
just-
try it, but I just don't think it's gonna be great. That's
Yeah,
my opinion. I
probably
think
not.
it's gonna be a 4 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. Well, mine. I don't have that many thorns. Not a lot popped off.
Then you know what? Don't do a thorn.
Okay.
Just have a good week, bud. It's
Okay.
your birthday.
Well, here's my
Feeling a
thorn.
little older.
The only thorn-ish I had was somebody commented on TikTok, Jason B88. Weirdest thing is, before I saw your videos, I always imagined Steele had the voice of Scooter and vice versa. But that's not really a thorn because you have a lovely voice as well.
It's not. Yeah, that is really funny
But I feel
too.
like that
because
happens a lot.
It does. It definitely happens a lot.
I
I
think
don't really know
I
why.
don't
Like
either.
it's-
I think that
it's
my
just a
voice
weird
matches
thing.
me, and I think yours matches you. So, but that's also because I hear my voice and I hear your
Right.
voice. I don't know. So I guess that's my thorn-ish, but not really. I have 2 roses because this one I just like stumbled across while looking for it, and it's crazy to me that somebody picked up on this. I love that they picked up on this reference, and it's from a while ago. It's back in like the beginning of August, but it says "Worlds Collide." This is from Emily GG17. This is the first Bravo podcast to mention my other favorite trashy obsession: betting on Maction.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was
It's
talking
so
about
good.
betting on Maction while being in Vegas, sitting
It's
in a
so
pool.
good, dude.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, betting on Maction is the best. Got bets in for tonight. Sunday's gonna be loaded up. So, I'm not giving out any picks because I'm fucking awful at gambling.
Well, Maction's a crapshoot anyway.
I
That's why it's
know.
so great.
That's why it's the best.
And
Yeah.
if you don't know what Maction is, Google it. It's one of the most fun. I love Maction football. Like it's great. It's great
It's
to
like
watch.
Toledo, and yeah, it's the only
Ball
thing
State.
on Tuesday night as
Yeah.
far as sports go, except for baseball. But once we get into those dead months at the end of October, early November, that's another thing you got on Tuesday nights. You got to absorb it.
Little Maction, baby.
Yep.
My real rose is this, because I love when we get honest reviews. Honest reviews are my favorite. It's a 3 out of 5, and it's from Meg MKE, and it's titled "It's Okay." It goes, "It's not my favorite Bravo podcast. It's not my least favorite. I appreciate the guys' banter and their fresh take on things. However, they get facts wrong sometimes. Or, since they haven't watched since the beginning, they don't understand some of the backstory or history of the ladies and how it plays into what's going on now in the shows. And I get it. It's hard to go back and watch it all." Very reasonable.
Just super reasonable.
Super reasonable.
3.5 gives us a C.
It's fine.
I'm into that.
Yeah, it was.
I like it.
I appreciate the honesty. It doesn't have to be a 5-star to be a rose. I love the approach. Like, yeah, it's okay,
Yeah.
and this is why. And you know what?
We love
MK
honesty.
Meg MKE, love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We kind of like you too.
Yeah, you're fine. But let's get into it because we had the return of RHOSLC, and we're gonna save that for the end because I want to get through OC first because I want to end on a happy note. And RHOSLC's gonna make me happy. And
I
OC,
thought you said that OC was good.
it
for you.
was, but it's still like, even though this episode was good and they've had a good stretch of the last 3 or 4, in my
I know
opinion,
that I didn't find it.
I know that you didn't love it, and I'm just kind of tired of talking about OC. But let's get into this episode. And
You know what? Actually, and this is about OC. I'm not sidetracking us. When I was watching OC, there was a commercial for, I guess it was Below Deck. They do 2 episodes on Mondays for Below Deck.
oh wow,
Do it for OC. Get it over with quicker. Give me
You just wanna
7 weeks.
Fire them off in a row.
Fire them off.
You
Give me
could- no, because then we'd have to. No, nope.
why?
You're not
Just for
looking
some
at the other
shows.
side of it. No, I agree. I don't mind the back to back.
Yeah, I
But
think
if
that
we're commenting on it and we got to do 2 OCs per episode, that's a lot.
we don't have to dig into everything. There's so much dead air during those shows that we can kind of just merge it all together.
Well, you're getting nitpicky. Can we just talk about this episode,
not-
please?
all right, yeah, go ahead.
You nit. But anyway, this whole episode is based around the Heather Dubrow launch party for the HD network and their trip to Mexico. But we start out, and this is immediately why I was like, okay, I fuck with this episode, because the first scene, like right out of the gate, has nothing to do with anything that we've talked about. Shannon is in with her doctor, and they're going over a new colonic that she's developing. It's a prototype for a colonic, and they get very in depth on like
What
the
is
process.
I mean, I know where it goes.
I believe it's like an enema,
Okay.
right? It just cleans out the system,
Okay.
and that's very fitting because you started us off with poop.
Yeah, all right,
So
there you go.
it-
That guy
it
should have
full
had an
circle.
enema.
Yeah, full circle. But I have questions about this doctor because we see him rip a little hole like right where her butt is. And before, when Vicky was there, she said that his finger was in her butt. Is this doctor credentialed?
I have no idea. He's an energy doctor.
I know.
So I don't know. I mean, when he started talking to her, he was like, "Are you stressed out? You know, when you're stressed out, you carry a little bit of weight in your face and on your stomach." And
Oh
I'm
no,
like, "All
she
right,
goes,
some of
my
that makes a little bit
stomach's
sense."
saggy, and he goes, yeah, and your face.
Yeah, well, you know, it doesn't seem like he holds any punches, which is probably good for a doctor. But I don't know what all of this has to do with butt stuff.
I don't know,
I
but
don't-
she's developing a prototype for a new colonic. So
I like that
keep-
you found it funny. I found it a little gross.
Oh no, I thought it was hysterical.
And they were
I thought-
talking like, I don't think that was John. I think it was her ex-husband, right? That was
Yes,
saying
yeah,
that like
David.
he had to go in there and pull it back out. And he's like, I still got some stuff. on
Yeah,
my
no, I
hand."
didn't
was
like that.
"Dude."
That was too much. That was too much.
Oh.
But it was a funny open. But the next scene, we get Jen and her mom, and they're baking. And the mom's from Oklahoma, which, you know, my dad's from Oklahoma. So when she started talking that Oklahoma accent, I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of how my grandmother used to talk.
Just warmed you.
Yeah, it was nice to hear the Oklahoma accent. But they're discussing Will and Ryan. And the mom loves Will still. To this day, they have a good relationship.
Doesn't Will still work on the ranch?
Yeah, Will still works for the family.
So in a way, he's closer to the family than she is.
Arguably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
So,
was thinking the whole time because she hasn't met Ryan.
no.
She hasn't even really seen Jen in a while. She didn't console Jen during the divorce.
Mm-mm.
Yet Will was working on the farm
Yeah.
back in Oklahoma near the family. She was probably consoling him.
Yeah. Oh,
Weird
that's interesting.
situation.
It is. The whole dynamic was a little
Yep.
strange. I felt that, especially when they get to dinner, and we'll get there in a little bit. But the mom does admit that she wasn't ready to meet Ryan, which understandably so, especially if you're that tight with Will, the
Yeah.
ex. So it also sounds like, wow, the mom forgives Jen for what she did. She also has a hard time moving on from her original relationship with Will because the mom, I mean, we hear her sing Will's praises the entire dinner with Ryan, right? And she said that she wasn't ready to meet Ryan for a very long time. It's been a few years, right? I think they said a couple
yeah, it's
years.
been a couple of years, yeah.
So it's weird that this is the first time that they got together, but I guess it's nice to see that the mom's still supportive. Like she's going to give it a shot instead
Yeah.
of being like, you're ruining your life. You're throwing it away. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, and we've
Uh,
seen that in a lot of different ways on a lot of different shows or just, in person. It is at least nice to see that she's able to sit down and obviously wants to now meet Ryan.
Mhm.
She's not just doing it as like an obligatory thing.
Yeah.
She's
no,
ready
that's a
to
good
do
point.
it, like she came from Oklahoma. She's ready to sit down. She's talking to Jen a little bit, kind of warming up to the fact. And then she's ready to go out because she knows that she does need to meet Ryan. I wonder if Ryan kind of reached out to her parents and said, like, hey,
Oh.
I'm ready to get married.
Wow. I didn't even.
I don't
think
know
of
if he
that.
backdoored it in that way.
No, I don't
We're
think
just talking about
so.
butt stuff, backdoors now.
I don't. I'm going to name this episode butt stuff.
Yeah, I mean, basically it is. I don't think there's any butt stuff in SLC, but yeah, I mean, I don't really know. It was just not off-putting, but it was a weird scene.
Yeah,
It was like all the information that was coming out. Obviously, we don't know a whole lot about Jen and her backstory as it is.
No, but it
first
makes me
year on
like
here.
Will more.
It does.
You know
I
what
would
I
love
mean?
to meet Will.
Yeah, now I'm like, Will seems dope. Why'd you cheat on him?
Seriously, yeah. I mean, you cheated on him with a douchebag
Which
too.
is an
Like,
interesting setup by the mom. But hey, you know what? The fact that she's going to give her daughter's new man a chance is refreshing to see that they're at least in a place where the infidelity didn't ruin their relationship because that would have been upsetting. But moving on from there, we get to this launch party, and we need to clarify some things here, or you need to help me work through it.
I don't know if I can. I don't know what the fuck it is.
So it's the HD network is it on the Fireside app? They mentioned that as well.
No idea.
So it's a network in which content creators can create content. It's all live, but then
Twitch.
it's like Twitch.
It's Twitch, it's YouTube, it's every other fucking gaming platform and
Right.
like
So
TikTok.
What's
It's like,
gonna set it apart? HD?
I guess maybe she feels like, I think the only thing that can really set those things apart is getting good personalities. So while I think that Heather has a good reach, she can get a lot of the reality stars that can go on there.
Okay,
But I don't think that's really why people go on to watch stuff like that. Like Twitch and YouTube, they're huge gaming things. Like that's the main thing that people live stream is that stuff. Or they'll live stream like them watching a show. Shout out fucking VPR with Jackson, his whole thing. I just don't understand it, and it doesn't seem like Heather understands it.
from what? No, it doesn't. When she's trying to explain it, it reminded me of when we get the housewives that don't want to tell you what they actually do, like
Which-
Jen Shaw, and
yeah,
they're like,
she
yeah,
said
you
that
know,
they
I
can
make
stand
money.
up and clap, and it's like, how?
I don't know. Like, and also if everybody can react in real time and you can hear what they're doing, like that's gonna
It's an earphone.
mess up. Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
gonna, I don't know. But from what I've gathered, it's a lifestyle Twitch.
Yeah.
So it's people can go on there and do a cooking show or a cooking class that's interactive, and then it will save and you can go back and watch it later, which again, there are already those things, but I guess if she's gonna tailor it to only lifestyle stuff, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, she has way more money than we do, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
that she knows what she's doing, but it does seem a little bit confusing. But of course, we can't go too long without Shannon getting into some drama. And Shannon and Heather had texted Shannon like a week prior. Hey, I'm doing this launch party for HG Network. I want you to come out, whatever. Shannon left her on red until 20 minutes before the party. 20 minutes.
Yep.
That is bad form. That's not a good look. But we dive a little bit deeper into it, and we then find out that Heather had told Emily that Shannon was talking shit at BravoCon about Emily. But she can't tell her what she said because it's locked in the vault.
Always.
We're back to the vault.
Only some things get locked in the vault.
But that defeats the purpose.
The whole situation is not locked in the vault. The general of what happened is not locked in the vault.
No, just the
Just
specifics.
specifics.
That's bullshit.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, that's not. Then guess what, Heather? That's not locked in the vault. If that actually happened, if that actually occurred, we find out later. Gina says, "I thought she was talking about Tamara, not Shannon. But I was
Right.
also getting my hair blown out." That's not a vault.
It's not a vault, and I think this is just a ploy by Heather for what she does. This is her playbook. And
Yeah.
it's only, I can't imagine she does this in real life, but it's for the show.
It
Let
has to
me
be.
just tell you what happened without telling you exactly what happened. That way you'll start talking about it. You'll start digging and find things out. I'm in the middle of it because I shared the information with you. So I
Okay.
still get the screen time to be on here, but I didn't actually say what she said.
Okay.
And then she
so
has some plausible deniability because she didn't actually say
That's all it
specifically what
is.
it was.
Yeah.
It's really just that. It's a game that she's playing.
Okay.
It's not a good game. She's not great
No,
at
she's
it.
playing poor.
Kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, what she's doing.
I will say, and we get a little like cutaway right here where her and Terry are talking about the house sale.
I like Terry.
I
have
like
no
Terry
problem
too.
with Terry.
That's what I was gonna actually give them both credit because like the bullshit in the group aside, seeing those two have a genuine connection seemingly, and also they've talked about it how this move and like selling the house and moving back to LA has kind of reinvigorated their relationship a little
Sure,
bit.
yeah.
Like they're both kind of walking on cloud nine. They seem really happy with each other. I wrote down like it's really sweet. Like seeing them
I appreciate that scene too. Yeah.
seeing them happy together and like vibing like that, like regardless of my thoughts and feelings on Heather, like that's nice to see. I don't wish ill.
I think it's unfair because my thoughts and feelings on Heather are based off of her interactions within this group. And all the interactions within this group make no sense to me.
That's a good point.
None of them are actually friends. So when you see a real moment like that in this show in whole, you see them with their family, you see them with their actual friends whenever they pull somebody who's actually friends with them in. Like Jem was talking to her friend on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
Those are real moments. Those are the moments that actually kind of strike. And you're like, all right, that's kind of cool. I like to see that. I like to know a little bit more about you. I like to know what you do, I guess, with your husband or with your friends or whatever. And then they come back to the group and it's like, all right, this is all fake.
Yeah.
This is all dumb bullshit.
Yeah. That's a really,
Yeah.
really
That's
good way to put
that's
it.
like my sticking point with this whole show. There's just no real connection between any of them.
That's a good point. But let's keep trucking. They bring up the Mexico trip, so we're getting a trip with the ladies, which I'm excited about. I love that they didn't foreshadow it for 3 episodes. And then
I love the way that they put things together. Like that's something that we've kind of picked up on over a year and a half is when they plan on these trips.
Mhm.
And it just seems so just off the cuff. Like, hey, I feel like, we need to just do some stuff. Maybe
Just
take a
gotta
couple
get
shots.
out of here.
Where can we do shots? Fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
You can do shots anywhere. You were already in Montana. You did shots up there.
Yep.
You can do shots in Mexico. You can go to Ireland, do shots over there. Anywhere you want to go, you can do shots. But you land on Mexico, which was already premeditated. It's already a plan.
Mexico?
Mexico works for me.
Mexico has
I know
tequila.
where to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that works.
Never get to listen to
just like,
Shannon
it's
speak
so funny.
Spanish for fucking 3 episodes.
Oh, no.
Great. But
Wait, Shannon or Dorit better at Spanish?
Shannon has a better accent.
I think so too.
Yeah, she seems more knowledgeable on the
Yeah.
Spanish
Dorit-
language as a whole. Dorit seems like she took one Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
And it was like, I can
Dorit is like Pitbull. She's Mrs. Worldwide.
Mrs. 305. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, damn
Oh,
it.
yeah.
it's
Miami's
over
coming
there.
back soon.
Yes, but let's get back to the lunch. Emily admits that she hasn't eaten all day, and she's crushing drinks. When the guy comes over to the table and she's got 5 wounded soldiers sitting in front of her. First, as an alcoholic, that pains me. So
Yeah.
like there's still things that I notice,
Yeah.
like when people don't finish their drinks at the table, it baffles me. It blows my mind. I'm like, yeah, we can't leave yet. You have to finish that drink. Like it will always be a thing. So seeing that, I was like, oh, come on, finish it. But when she gets to the table, her behavior was unacceptable. It wasn't okay. And was it funny? Yeah, I laughed. I laughed a couple of times when she was eating the cucumber and she was saying there's sand in the salad. But it wasn't acceptable. And Heather did have a right to be mad. However, it's quite clear that the underlying issue here is the fact that she let her peek behind the vault, but didn't let her inside of the vault.
Yeah.
Like that's all this is about. She's projecting and she's upset. She doesn't want to be here because she's mad at Heather. So she instead gets really drunk and then starts shitting on the food and the initials. That was the best part. The initial talk, I thought I would have gotten branded when I walked in here. That was a really funny line. There should be some
I think
more
Heather has
HDs
no
everywhere.
sense of humor. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've seen Heather laugh once this entire season.
She does not take.
She doesn't take jokes towards
well.
herself very well.
She takes them seriously, like
She
immediately.
takes them very
Yeah.
seriously immediately, doesn't look at them as a joke. But I don't think I've seen her laugh.
No, but I do not want to falter here because I thought that Emily was out of line. I do think that it would have done her a favor if earlier on, like when she started making initial jokes, if she leaned into it a little bit, I think that it would have like diffused the situation slightly.
Right.
But I also understand you put this thing together, and that's where it's tough because this is a serious thing. This is a big deal to Heather. This is part of her next step.
Then why is it on the show? Why are your fucking castmates at this thing?
Because you're
If it's
supposed
a
to.
big deal, I know, but if it's really a big deal, don't invite the castmates. Don't make it part of the show.
Homeless, not toothless is a big deal, and that was on the show, and
Yeah, I
that had to
know.
be
It's
horrible for the
so
entire
funny.
organization. Like,
It should be like your C and B list of business opportunities. Sure, throw them on the show because what's the worst that could happen? They're going to get into a fight, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You're going to put something that's like really near and dear to your heart on this show. You got to be prepared for somebody like Emily to get really drunk and start making jokes.
or don't tee her up before the thing.
Maybe
and say,
that too.
Say, yeah, someone's talking shit, but I
Have some
can't tell you
awareness.
what she said.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
just a bad look. But after that, Heather and Terry go to say goodbye to their house. And again, very touching scene. It's sweet to see those two together dancing around the house, going through memories. The memories that flashed up on screen were hysterical. Vicky, the Christianity thing was a riot. I didn't even see that episode, but I like that scene. And so for me, this was an important episode for my relationship with Heather. Because up until this point, I've been anti-Heather in almost every way. I still don't love Heather. But like you said, seeing real moments, and we talk about it frequently, the
Mhm.
humanizing moments, like it does remind me, like, okay, yeah, I forgot. Heather's a person. She's got a real life and real feelings. So like this was an important Heather episode to me. But up next, we got Shannon and Tamra. And Tamra FaceTimes Shannon to discuss the night before. Shannon just mysteriously still does not feel well. We don't really know why.
Right.
She does not have COVID, but she just collectively doesn't feel good for a long time now. It seems like she's never feeling okay.
Might be some more to read into there. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Maybe do
If
some.
you're
but
not
she did.
feeling
She went
good-
to her doctor.
She went to her butt doctor, her energy butt doctor. But
But
I mean, I thought it was just, I think it's really just her kind of playing it up. Obviously, she didn't want to go to the event. That's really what it
that's
was.
all it is. But
And she's had a hard couple of weeks, if you think about it. Everybody's putting her relationship on blast after she put it on blast, of course. but still she doesn't feel comfortable being in that environment, doesn't really want to do it. Maybe she wasn't really feeling that well that day and didn't feel like putting up with it. Shitty to text somebody 20 minutes
Well, she
before.
said, I'm not going to Texas either because I don't feel well. And you just decided that 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense, but nothing Shannon has done thus far makes a lot of sense.
No, it's all erratic, and it's
very
actually
erratic.
that's what's alarming. But in this scene specifically, she's the one that takes umbrage with Heather having an issue about the text.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dude, she's
Tone down.
right. It's
Yeah.
20 minutes before, and she's like, here we go again. Me not texting Heather on time. She has a problem with it. It's like, I think anybody would
On
have a problem
time.
with it. Anybody would have
Yeah,
a
maybe
problem.
you should have waited the 20 minutes and texted her as soon as it started.
Yeah,
and you would have
that
been
would've
on time.
better.
There
And
you
it's
go.
on time technically, but no, I think anyone reserves the right to be upset with a friend if you invite them to something and they don't let you know until 20 minutes prior that, hey, I'm not going to make it.
Yep.
Especially when it's an excuse like, I just don't feel good. It's like you have to have something more than that. If it was, hey, I'm definitely coming, and then like an hour before you're like, hey, I just saw my butt doctor. Things are not great. I
Yeah,
need
there's a
day.
piece of plastic up
Yeah.
my butt somewhere.
Right, well,
And no, John won't dig it
yeah,
out. Now I
John
don't think that he's a good
refuses.
boyfriend for me. I just don't know what's going on. He just won't go on my butt and get this piece of plastic out. It's just not going to work. He kept saying he's going to get stuff on his fingers. I don't know. I just can't.
I can't make it to your party. Okay, viable.
Instead, I'm going to take a plane to Barcelona
Yeah.
and poop everywhere.
With Shannon.
Try to get it out. It was Shannon. There it is. We uncovered the secret.
Full circle. But that's when the house sale goes public. Mid conversation, Tamara goes, holy shit, did you see this? And it comes out that the house was sold for $55 million. And I'm going to lump in like when they talk about it later at Mexico right now.
Yeah, good for you.
Thanks, dude. But to me, when Heather was explaining why she kept it a secret, like, do I think that Heather thinks she's better than other people? I do. Do I think that she talks down to other women in the group? I do. Do I also understand her stance of, I don't feel supported right now, so I feel like if I bring this to the group, it's not going to be met with
Well,
with
is it that she
enthusiasm?
doesn't feel supported, or is it that she signed an NDA?
It's
First
she
time
doesn't
I've
feel
ever heard somebody
supported.
sign an NDA for a
Yeah,
fucking
the NDA
house.
thing was like
That
that's
doesn't even make
when-
sense.
That's when stuff pisses me off. It's like, don't even bring the NDA up. That's not true.
Who'd you sign the NDA with? It's not like you're saying who you sold the house to.
I think that was if there
think
is an
that's it.
NDA, yeah, you can't.
You can say that you sold it.
Correct.
That-
You
it
cannot
just-
say who you
So
sold
that
it
was
to.
bullshit. And then she leans into the whole, well, I just don't feel supported. So like, why would I bring something up? I don't want to seem braggy. It's like, it's just fucking like everybody's going to find out anyway. It's going to be worse for you when the tabloids report it. And then your friends are like, what the fuck? You didn't say a word to us.
But
They didn't even know
then-
that you were even trying to sell the house.
But my thing, I guess, to play devil's advocate here a little bit, is I don't think she needs to tell the group, and I don't think that they need to take it personally. It's definitely not comparable to Shannon and John and their relationship issues and the group being concerned about Shannon and moving forward with John.
Yeah, no, not
But
at all.
Shannon takes it immediately. And she's like, oh, you want everybody to share, but you don't share yourself. It's like, this is night and day. This is apples to oranges. You can't compare what the entire group is concerned about with your shit that's been ongoing for an extended period of time. This is a house sale. It's a house sale for an absurd amount of money.
I do think that she
sale.
was going to tell them in Mexico.
I really do too.
I don't think the time and place is to tell them at the party.
I didn't
'cause
either.
There's other things going on there. There's other people there that you don't want to find out. I don't think it has anything to do with maybe Gina or Emily kind of blabbing to somebody else and letting them know that she sold the house. I don't think it has anything to do with any of that. I think it was more just like a time and place issue. We know that Heather's been kind of MIA from the cast for a couple of weeks now because she's been dealing with that
Right.
and moving to LA. So there's a lot of things going into this. I don't really see much of an issue with it. It's a non-important thing, but of course Shannon's going to make it about herself
Yep.
because she has beef with Heather. It's just kind of stupid, and I don't really get it.
I don't either. But as like it's the spark to a lot of issues that the table has with Heather, I guess. And it brings up the conversation from Emily, and we finally get to the bottom of why Emily is upset. And like we as the viewers already know, it's because of the shit talking going on behind her back. But that was the caveat for things kind of blowing up at the dinner table. And Emily takes it upon herself to now bring up, all right, well, this is why I'm upset. Apparently, you were talking shit, or apparently Shannon was talking shit about me, but you can't tell me what she said. I don't know why you would tell me that in a hotel room. Heather immediately goes with the I didn't say that defense, which I hate. I hate that defense. It's the same as the I'm joking defense. It's never a good one. That's when Gina chimes in and says, well, I thought she was talking about Tamara saying stuff, which I definitely believe that, but I could see either of them talking
Could
shit.
have been both.
It could have been both.
Yeah.
But Emily starts going off, and her and Heather just like go at it. And Emily fires off a lot of things that I think are true. Like, you sit there and go, and you check the boxes for a conversation, but you don't actually listen. I'm like, that seems to me, from what I've seen out of Heather,
Yep.
spot on. Spot on.
Yep.
And I think that would frustrate anybody. And Emily kind of boils over. And that's when we start getting a lot of things like body shaming. And I don't know if this is body shaming because she hands her the plate of cookies. And mind you, Heather's frustrated with Emily at this point. They're at the luncheon and she hands her a plate of cookies and they look like boobs. And she says, "These are for you," because they're like, you have big, nice boobs. Is that body shaming?
I don't know, because she said nice.
She's a
But I have
big,
no
nice
idea, but maybe
boobs.
the
I don't
big
know.
part of it, I
Maybe
don't-
she took it like
Maybe Emily's a little self-conscious about it, which is fine. It's just between that and then she goes back to apparently Heather's upset because she said that she was in her dolphin suit. But even when we go there, it's like you have a nice body and you're in your
Yeah,
like
that's not
slick
body
like so
shaming.
it just neither of them really made a lot of sense. My only big issue with all of this was when Heather goes back at Emily and she talks about her behavior at the party and talking about the branding and everything with HD everywhere. Emily didn't lean into it. Just she gets so triggered right away. And I get it.
defensive.
Like, she's very angry. She's upset with Heather. She wants to get it all out. But in that moment, during that party, you were joking. We know that you were joking. Yes, were you a little drunk? Sure, whatever. Were you a little inappropriate? Sure, whatever. I don't care. But you were fucking joking. Just say it was a joke. Get over it and laugh it off and then
Don't
move
say
on.
Get over it. I would say I was joking. If it went too far, I apologize.
Well,
I know
yeah,
it's your
that's-
I mean,
that's
I
cooler
think she
heads,
needs to
but-
take some accountability because she was an asshole. I think take a little bit of accountability, but also say, it was a joke. I apologize if it went too far. I know it was an important event to you.
But you know what?
What?
I don't think she was an asshole. Because
Really?
what do you get? Do we even see that scene if Emily doesn't do anything at that party?
No, but
We get to watch them walk in and they look nice and then they sit
Well,
down and they talk
from
about
a-
the Mexico trip and that's it.
well, then from a housewives TV standpoint, sure. From a friend being invited, if you came to an event that I was having, you got that drunk and started saying shit like that the whole time. One, it wouldn't take that long.
One,
for
you
me.
would have laughed.
I would have laughed. One,
the
two.
SR
If I got annoyed, I would have walked over to him and been like, "Hey, bro, shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
Like, it would have been handled very quickly.
Yeah. And then you would have shoved a pretzel in my mouth.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know me.
You
So,
need fucking food.
yeah, you need
Eat it.
this. Shut the fuck up. Go sit over there for a minute. Come back. Cooler heads.
Your
prevail.
salad wouldn't have sand in it.
No, my salad would be delicious. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be sandy, but the food looked good. But anyway,
God,
we
eating
can
sand, man.
do eat the sand, man.
Pound sand, dude.
Yeah, pound sand. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But let's tie a bow on it with the Ryan going to dinner with Jen and her mom. So we finally get this scene of the mom meeting Ryan for the first time. What the fuck
I have no idea.
was he wearing?
Well, you're going to that? What the fuck is that first conversation?
The first conversation was insane, but before we even got
Oh,
there,
what is that? I mean, that's what he does. I'm not
what
even
is
surprised
that?
by
It
it.
had cow on it. It had
I don't
camo
know. It's
on
like,
it. It's a denim jacket on the back. It says, "We're here for the vibes." or
what was
something.
that? What was that crazy? I mean, there's Ed Hardy, of course. Affliction, probably.
Yeah.
It's like Affliction died out, and Ryan decided to single-handedly carry it through to 2023. Like, it's evolved to that point, and he just keeps throwing shit on there. Like, I don't know if anybody watches. I think you should leave, but it's a Dan Flash's shirt. The designs are just too fucking crazy, man. The more the designs, the more price it is. Like, you got to be over there. Everybody's gonna do it. Yeah, I'm using my stipend for everything that I'm supposed to be eating for my shirts. All right, that's fucking Ryan. That's what he does.
that's
Everything that he
perfect.
wears. Every time he has something on,
peacocking.
first off, he's either shirtless. Second off, he's wearing something crazy like that. And every time he wears something, it's a little more crazy, a little more crazy. By the end of the year, it's going to be like Brian Colangelo's collars, where they're just fucking massive at the end of the year. And nobody's going to get that reference either. But you get where I'm going with this. It's just nuts. And for the fucking conversation to start off with, I know what you heard about me. Yes, I cheated.
No, he says, "Jen told you I was unfaithful."
Yeah.
That's the intro. And the mom goes,
Fucking
"Yep."
What? I thought it was editing. I had to go back and make sure that they didn't like skip the whole like introductory
I
phase.
don't think so.
I don't think it was editing. I think they sat down and he goes, "Well, Jen told you that I was unfaithful. Like, let's just get
right
this
out
out
of
of
the
the way."
gate, dude. And the other thing, here's
Warm
what
up to it. Maybe she doesn't ask about it and you don't have to talk about it.
you know what else bugs me, and this is me nitpicking. This is the first time meeting her mom.
Yep.
Don't sit there leaning on her with your arm around her the entire time. I think that what he's trying to do is show the mom, look how close we are. I love her so
For sure.
much. And he's like smothering her with the arm. It's like, no, give her space. Give the mom the attention. You don't need to show affection to her daughter. She understands as her boyfriend that you should be affectionate with her. but I think that's a move. He's like, oh, I'm going to show how much I love you. I'm going to
fully
sit
agree.
here. Yeah, I didn't like that, but
He's not a tough cookie to crack, honestly.
no, he's easy as shit to crack. And then she starts going in on him a little bit, and I love the approach. And Jen had an issue, like, can we stop talking about Will? It's like, no, you can't stop talking about Will because one, this man does have a past quite clearly because he has no issue talking about it. So the mom's going to be worried about her daughter. So yeah, here's what you're up against, buddy. Will's a great dad. Will was a great husband. And Jen's like, well, he's a great dad. She's like, nah, he was a good husband.
Even from what Jen told us about Will, he was a great husband.
Like,
you cheated on him
we don't-
emotionally or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah,
Like
allegedly.
you destroyed Will, and you're gonna sit here and be like, he wasn't a great husband. He neglected me or whatever. You haven't told us, the viewer, that he was neglectful.
No.
You just said that it lost the spark.
Yes.
That's nothing that Will did directly to you. You didn't say that he was talking to other girls. You didn't say that he was being mean to you or emotionally manipulative. You just said that you guys lost the spark and it just wasn't there anymore and you found it in Ryan. You're the fucked up person in this relationship.
And
Maybe the mom realizes that and that's why Will still lives on the fucking farm and helps them.
boom. I think that's
Yeah.
perfectly said. And,
idiots.
but the thing with me is Jen was self-aware of that for the first however many episodes of the season. She's like, yeah, it was my fault.
I still think it was a play.
Well, clearly it was a play. But I just think that the mom took the right approach. I like that she digs into Ryan. I like that she says, you have really big shoes to fill. I don't like that she says, I think that you're up for the task. He's not. There's no way that this dude's on the up and up. He uses all of the family stuff and the kids stuff. He's doing that on purpose. That's a move. Yeah, I'm so fulfilled. It's like she's got the 5 kids. I've got the 2. We're going to have 7 under one roof. Ha, ha, ha. I know what you're doing. You're painting the picture of like the all-American family in this big house, all happily coexisting to sidestep the fact that you cheat. Jen cheated. This is a relationship that got fueled and sparked by infidelity. So now you're trying to say it was all worth it because we're going to have this big, massive, happy family, this big modern family, and we're all going to get along great. And I'm not a douchebag, despite my jacket literally saying I'm a douchebag.
Yes.
But we are back, and we are back with a vengeance. We are in RHOSLC, a.k.a. RHOSLC, a.k.a. Salt Lake.
AKA SLC Punk.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
I do with
Matthew
what's his name?
Lillard.
Matthew. Thank you. Yeah, he's Shaggy from
Good
Scooby
movie.
Doo. But
He sure is.
yep. What did you think about our season opener?
I hate doing this, but I don't know. I can't. I think I'm realizing that I am not somebody who can just temper expectations.
No, I'm not either.
Like I watched this and it was so nice, and we do this every fucking series.
We know we do.
Every season premiere, we watch it and we say, "Wow, this is gonna be great." That's where I am right now.
Same.
It just looks so great. Like
Same.
no Jen Shaw there. They're still talking about her, and I don't care that they're
Well,
talking
they
about her.
referenced
Like
her just enough.
to kind of get you understanding of where she came, and
'Cause we
obviously,
have to talk about it, right?
of course, we have to talk about it because the new cast member used to be her assistant, and we'll get to all of that. But you have to talk about her. I didn't even mind that they talked about her. They even referenced Heather's black eye. I wasn't mad about it. It seems like you've got a group here now with Mary Cosby as the friend of that can kind of guide you through the season
Yeah.
and actually be legit and fun and also filled with a little bit of drama.
You know what it did for me is it opens the door to multiple storylines that are going to be fun. There's going to be drama. There's going to be a group dynamic that was not possible with Jen Shaw in the mix
Yes.
because her story overtook everything and they tried to mask it with a black eye story, which didn't work. Like that was the entirety of last season. This season, it's actually
It's a fresh.
I
I
was
know
gonna
it
say
was
it, yeah.
fresh powder, fresh start.
It's a
But like,
fresh start.
it is a fresh start.
And yeah, but I felt it. And like I love that the intro was like the trailer and it's just they lean heavy into the religious undertones and it's like the religious music and we're back in Salt Lake and the Mormonism thing. Like that's the ticket.
Yep.
Lean into that part of this because that's really intriguing for us, the viewer. But let's dive into it. We're back at Sundance with Lisa Barlow, who's the queen of Sundance. She's been putting on parties here for 14 years. Is she like a party planner?
I think so. I think
An event
if
planner?
you asked her, she's a last minute event planner. But
Yeah, that was confusing.
I
Like, are
didn't
you
really
always
understand
strapped
that.
for
Just-
time?
I guess she just waits till the last minute. Like, I'm not going to start this until a week before the premiere.
They call her Last Minute Lisa.
I don't fucking know. But yeah, I guess. I mean, it seems like she's got her shit together.
Well, she's talking to John, and I guess that their son, Jack, is going on a mission for 2 years for the Mormon church, I'm assuming. But this scene was hysterical, and this is why I love Lisa Barlow, because she's being emotional with John, and she's like crying because she's going to miss Jack. She's worried because she didn't know that he was thinking about doing this, and she thought he was going to college. And am I a good mother? Am I attentive enough? Am I present enough? Which is the funniest line. Am I present enough? Because during this conversation, she stops, 1, crying, and 2, talking to check her text messages about parties that are going on in Sundance.
You know what's funny? I actually openly thought that there was no problem with that because 1 was time sensitive.
I had
The
no issue.
conversation that she was having with John was not.
No, I have no
Yeah.
zero issue.
Oh yeah, I know.
at all.
It is funny. It is
It was
funny
just
to
a
point out.
funny
Yeah.
like juxtaposition. Like,
Yeah.
I just need to be present. Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. And done. He's going away for 2.
Yeah.
Hold on one sec. Like, that was just,
Turn it on, turn it back on.
yeah, it was really funny. And I, like, zero issues at all. But this scene was the one I was probably most apprehensive about. Slightly excited, a little scared. And that was the return of Heather. Because for 2 seasons, I would have killed for Heather. Like, she was my absolute favorite above anybody else. It wasn't even close. Watching her downfall last year physically hurt my heart. I was
Yep.
bummed out about it. So
Maybe
even
a little
though
timid.
feeling a little timid, sure. And even though I said after last season, like, I'm done with Heather. Like, I'm done. This whole storyline was ridiculous. She was an asshole all season. Old Heather's gone. I'm out. There's still that little inkling, you know me. I'm always going to hold on to hope.
And I actually kind of agree with you too, because we talked about this yesterday with one of the questions that came through, whether we think that she can have a redemption arc this season. And I firmly do think she can. And after watching her in this episode,
She can.
I firmly believe
Yeah.
she absolutely can.
I think I disagreed with you when you said that originally.
Yeah.
I said I don't think she can
It
come
just
back. I think
she's
she can.
not trapped under the shadow of Jen Shaw anymore. She can kind of do her thing. She's obviously going to have to make her penance.
Yep.
Religion.
nice.
I don't know if Mormons have penance, but whatever. They start her off with her actually shoveling her own walkway,
That was so funny.
expecting that Meredith might help. Even funnier.
By the way, shoveling in like 5-inch heels or platforms,
Yeah, of
whatever those
course.
were.
I mean, what do you expect out there? But it was fun. Like, it seems like we're gonna get fun Heather back, who's not gonna be caught up in the weird bullshit that doesn't really make any sense. She'll still get caught up in some drama because she obviously has some weird issues still going on with Whitney. But it seems like everybody else is like, all right, Heather, like, you're back and you're good. And that's what we need. She needs to be that rock of everybody likes Heather.
Everybody liked
enjoys
Heather.
being around Heather. She'll get back to that. I think
hope
by
so.
mid-season, I think we'll be fine.
But with this scene, what it did for me, I did not realize, honestly, the dark cloud that Jen Shaw cast over this whole franchise
Yeah.
in 1 season because of what she did. I didn't realize the extent of it. Obviously, from a legal standpoint, I get the extent of it. She was a horrible person that robbed people of money.
Right.
But what it did to the show without having to worry about that part of it and go into this scene with Heather, like, open-minded with, as we keep saying, a fresh start, it was a breath of fresh air. I was like, oh my God, this is why I loved this show so much. This first episode was that. It was the reminder of why Salt Lake was great and hopefully why I can get back to being great. But Heather's talking and she's going through everything that she's done in the past year. Her book got released. It's a New York Times bestseller. She just opened her second beauty lab officially. Moved into a new house. We no longer have to see her rental home because she wouldn't share her house with us prior. She only would show the rental. So we get a fucking fresh start from Heather.
Yeah, seriously, and there's no better way to put it.
But Meredith comes over and they're talking about Whitney said some shit in an interview. And this is so dumb. This is so dumb to me. Look, the bathtub scene was creepy. We all said it. It was all over social media. There's no
Very
way
uncomfortable.
that Meredith could have opened her phone during last season and not seen all of us talking about this weird scene with her and Seth. It's not that you're bathing together. People take baths together. It was the interaction within the tub that rubbed people the wrong way. You were shoveling your foot under his taint, like in the tub. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear that from Seth. I'm sorry. Like, you guys can have an intimate bathtub relationship. It's fine. Great, beautiful, good for you guys. You still bathe
Don't share it on
together.
camera.
Don't need to see it.
That's the whole thing. I agree the same way with Whitney.
Yeah.
Whitney, go ahead. You and your husband want to go run around and paint each other naked bodies and
Great.
just have sex and do all that. Great. Don't take pictures of it. Don't
Nope.
put it on there.
Don't need to
You
see
guys can allude to it in a conversation, which happens on every show.
it.
Make a weird sex joke. Talk about your weird sexual proclivities. Go ahead and do it. I do not care.
Nope.
That's fine. Once we see it, you open yourself up to all of this shit.
That's it.
And that's what's going to happen. And we ripped it apart last year. I felt the same way. It's gross. Now, do I think that there's weird chemicals and stuff moving around in there and like bodily fluids and shit in there? Hopefully not.
No, well,
But
my whole
gross.
thing is like with that, yeah. What a bath is to me, I don't take baths. I think baths are gross in general.
I don't think people take baths to get clean like children do because
but
it's
that's
easy.
what I'm saying. You're stewing in your own filth, and now you're stewing in somebody else's filth. So
Yeah.
if you approach it as this is us being like sexy, we're gonna take a bath together. Great. If you guys are actually bathing together, gross.
Don't take a big bath with your significant other.
Just don't do it.
Don't do
It's
it.
never what it's chalked up
It's
to be.
just not.
It's like
I don't care
showering.
how big the tub is. You're gonna be like close-ish to each other because that's just how it goes. It's just not.
It sounds
It's
better
not.
on paper always. Same with like showering with a significant other. Someone's always out of the water. It's always cold. It's kind of awkward.
Yeah, unless you have like a huge shower that has all the different heads like,
Sure.
kinda going
If
everywhere.
you're rich as fuck and you have one of those
Yeah,
showers,
yeah.
do your thing.
Go ahead.
If you have a normal shower or a normal tub,
No.
don't do it.
Your head's just like in a bunch of hair.
Yeah, come on now.
It's
But
not fun.
anyway, what my big takeaway is, it's not that deep. She's like, she comes after my bathtub. She was very offended about coming after a bathtub. She was very offended about she's coming after her
She's-
marriage. Like, what the fuck?
No,
she's
she
not.
wasn't. Like
She's
it was a
not.
joke. And she's right, by the way.
Yeah.
But also the way that Meredith portrayed everything, and this is what we're going to get from Meredith, and this is what we've always gotten from Meredith. She spins things that are said about her into the most possible negative
Like
light.
most dire situation.
Just like
ever.
anything could be a joke, and she'll go, "What are you talking about my kids?" It's like, no, I wasn't. No one was talking about your children. How'd you get there? It's like you were talking about a public school down the road, and you didn't know that I was thinking about that school like 25 years ago. Like, what are you talking about?
That's
I have no idea what's going on with you, Meredith. But that's what we're going to get from her. And if she's the only one who does something like that, I'm okay with that.
Well, we get in the next scene the highly coveted return of Mary Cosby, which in itself sounds like a made up name. But this
It
is
might be.
it could be your first interaction with Mary Cosby. I know you've seen clips, I know you've seen little snippets, but you didn't watch the seasons with Mary in
Yeah.
them. What do you think right out of the
She's
gate?
fucking awesome.
Isn't she amazing?
She's great.
She's
Where'd
one
she
of-
go?
She at the end of her stretch after the first 2 years did not get along with.
Oh,
pretty
you can
much-
tell she hates everyone.
Yeah, like she's
it's
not
awesome.
tight. It makes for even better TV.
But you know what we get out of Mary Cosby? And hopefully we'll get more out of the other people on this cast.
And I love that you have to say her full name. I do every time.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
Mary Cosby. It's not Mary. It's Mary
What
Cosby.
you get out of her is she will ask the questions that we want answers to. And
With-
she will force you into a corner and make sure that you answer that
Yep.
question. We didn't get one person last year honestly ask the question, well, what the fuck did Jen Shaw have on you? Like,
Right.
what was she doing? What were you doing for her? How did you not know what was going on? We didn't get any of those questions last
Mary
year.
will
Like,
ask everybody.
anybody in that group could have done that. Whitney could have done that. It's not really Whitney's vibe. I get it, whatever. But you throw Mary into the mix. If something's going on and they're just actively not talking about it in front of each other, Mary will make sure that you talk about it.
Which is perfect.
And that's awesome. We need that. We need a Mary Cosby in every one of these franchises.
I agree. Force the issue. But she goes through what she's been doing over the past couple of years, and she talks about Robert Jr., her son, who is dating somebody, but everyone else says that they're married. And this is Mary Cosby to a T, and I'm glad they let her off with this one. She's like, I haven't asked him yet. And they're like, don't you live with him? She's like, yeah, I haven't gotten around to it though. But she talks about Robert Sr., who is her grandfather.
Yep.
By the way, who she's married to. Robert Sr.'s been in Vegas for 6 months, and they're like, oh, how was that? Like, it must have been tough. It's great. It's great. Everything's great.
Great.
Like,
Vegas,
she's
great.
a fucking enigma in the best way. But this is when Jen comes up, and Mary's thrilled that Jen's gone, and she's thrilled that this kind of dark cloud has left the group. And it's kind of, I guess, what she was calling the elephant in the room. And it seems like that might have been her biggest issue with this group was Jen. I don't know if that is going to ring true down the road, but we'll find out. What we do know is the salad was too spicy for her, so she had to stop eating.
I actually appreciated that little tidbit too. You know why? Ties in with everything else we're talking about.
Spicy.
Goes in
Oh,
spicy, comes out spicy.
Yeah. Wow. It's everywhere
A
today.
lot of poop.
A lot of poop.
Everybody poops.
Have you ever heard that song? That's one of Poppy's favorite songs. Do 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 do. Have you actually heard that?
Yeah, I've heard the song.
It's called I Poop.
They make the it's called I Poop.
I
Yeah.
Poop. If you haven't
They
heard I
used-
Poop, you need to look
There's
it
a
up. It's
book called
banger.
Everybody Poops.
Everybody Poops is a book. The song I Poop is a banger. If you haven't listened to it with your kids,
Now
yet,
I'm
I
wondering if
highly
I've seen it.
recommend it.
Let's put it at the end of the episode.
Oh, I don't know if it can copyright. I'll try.
Yeah.
But let's move on. I forgot Angie was in the show. And
Me
is
too.
this Angie H or Angie K?
K.
This is Angie K. Okay. This is Angie K. We had too many Angies last year. So Angie K and Monica, who's a newbie, and Lisa are out to lunch. And we get introed to Monica. And what an intro. I don't know if there is a bigger like step onto the scene than coming up and saying, yeah, remember when Jen got busted? I was the one that ratted her out.
It's fucking awesome.
It was a great leadoff. And the one thing I will say from her confessionals, a lot of Jen Shaw energy coming out of this one.
Oh yeah,
The
I mean, even the
mannerisms.
fact that the way she looks, like she dyed her hair, same
Yeah.
color as Jen's.
Saying,
But
dude.
you know what? What she did is like the equivalent of like 16th century France. Like you kill your brother to become king. It's pretty much what she did.
She dethroned the
She
queen.
dethroned Jen Shaw so that she can get in the show.
That's interesting. Well, she's talking about what she did, and I guess she filled in for Jen's assistant, which means you were Jen's assistant. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to paint it up a little bit. She was Jen's assistant. And
filled in.
What?
I filled in.
You filled in?
I filled in.
Oh, I couldn't hear what you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, I filled in for Jen's assistant. No, you were Jen's assistant, which is fine. And Jen comes to her and says, do you want to be rich? And she definitely said that. She said, do you want to make $600,000 a year? Definitely said that. Just put your name on some shit. We're going to put your some shit under your name and you're going to be rich. To Monica's credit, she has a cousin in Secret Service, which is what a line. Calls her cousin up, explains what's going on. The cousin says, get the fuck away from her. 2 weeks later, Jen Shaw's arrested. Now, I would imagine, obviously, there's been an investigation going on. It's not like she is the reason that it happened.
No, I'm
refuse
sure
to
there was
believe
more going on there that they were trying to figure
Yeah.
out, but now they had an
But I
informant.
feel like that's a smoking gun where it's like, hey, she tried to get me involved. And they're like, all right, we can speed this thing along
Yeah.
a little bit. And we have a witness. And she did. She testified against Jen. But we start getting into her backstory a little bit. And she's getting divorced for the second time from the same man. Now, I don't know if the entanglement, thanks Jada Pinkett Smith, the entanglement comes from the first marriage to the same dude or the second marriage. I don't know when you got tangled up, but she cheated.
I imagine it was from the second marriage.
Why? How do you know that?
She's just the way that she phrased it. She said, we had a great time, we got married, and then, we kind of fell apart and we divorced, and then we came back together. Now we're getting a divorce again because of the entanglement. I think she kind of said it. I think so.
I don't think she's, well, regardless.
Does it matter though?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But here's my question. And Dev asked it. She's like, because we all want to know, where do these people get their money from? Where did she get her money from to be on this show? And here's my theory. I just like the idea that they didn't have a prenup the first marriage and she got half of his shit. Then they got remarried and she convinced the guy to not get a prenup again, divorced him and took half his shit again.
Yeah, maybe. Possibility.
Just double down, just keep taking his stuff. Now he's got a quarter of what he had.
It's funny because like even the picture that she put up of her ex-husband, I never know. Like if you were in, say, Atlanta, say you were in Potomac, whatever, and you posted a picture and showed a picture of your ex-husband and he looked like that guy,
Yeah.
I'd be like, you don't have money. Where'd that money come from? But it's Utah. I'm like, hey, who the
You
fuck
never
knows,
know,
man?
dude. You have no
Who
idea
knows?
with the church out there. There's no telling. But this is something that made me nervous as we're talking because it goes to a confessional again with Monica, and a lot of her opinions are based on what Jen has told her about people in the group. Like
Yeah.
she would talk to Lisa on the phone because Jen would get tired of her talking because she talks too much. And I was like, all right, are you just going to be a mouthpiece for what Jen used to say? She shuts it down later by saying Jen was full of shit and I'm going to form
Yeah,
my own opinions.
I
But
didn't feel like that. I think it's actually real. I think that she didn't know any of them personally. Like, yeah, she knew Angie K personally, but that's a little bit different. She knew about everybody in the group only through Jen, and obviously she goes into the story about Lisa Barlow. But I think that's right. I think she's right. I think I would do the same thing if I didn't know any of these people and I knew them through a person that I was friends with at the time, and I only knew what that person was saying. Jen Shaw is absolutely the type that is just spilling, one, nonsense, two, secrets.
But that's
She's
my
telling
point.
secrets everywhere.
How are you going to be able to decipher between the bullshit and actual truth? I don't
If
think
she's
you can.
smart. I think she just kind of sits and waits and then kind of sees if some of the shit that Jen has told her over the years kind of
and then she
pans
can
out.
verify it.
Yeah, and then she'd be like,
Right.
"Oh, that part's true."
That makes
And then,
sense.
you can kind of push the other one away, or you can keep some ammunition in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it pans out. I do think that we're going to hear a lot more from her, kind of voicing some things that Jen has said in the past. I don't
For
think
sure.
that's the last time we've heard that, but that takes us to the fresh start party, which is great. We need the fresh start. This is a good way the venue's sick.
Oh, that was fucking awesome. We got to get out there.
Yeah, we do. I really want to go out there.
We might get stuck in the church somewhere, but
we both become
look, if
Mormons.
they offer me $600K and just sign your paper.
You just don't twist my arm. But the first thing I got concerned about, because they go over what the activities are and they talk about the snowballs.
Yeah.
Like, those snowballs are going to be ice. Those are going to be ice balls by the time they get
When
there.
they started throwing them, they didn't look like ice. So they came apart pretty quickly.
They did, but I don't know.
It's that mountain snow, it's not
pre-made. Yeah, it's not Pocono snow.
It's not that Pocono
snow. If you
That
can ski
dirty
the
snow.
Poconos, you can.
But it
ski
is also
anywhere.
really funny because even in the first scene when we saw Heather shoveling, and this is just how my brain works, it looks like nice snow, and I'm so used to like that
dirty,
northeast
icy
bullshit,
snow.
and like when we see it on the only other shows that we really see snow on are like sometimes Jersey, but they mostly
Winter
film in the
House.
summer. Winter House, yeah, okay, all right, never mind. Whatever. It looks like clean snow. I'm used to that dirty ass.
No. I know what you're saying.
Mid-Atlantic snow that we get.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Gross.
But Mary arrives to the party, and Lisa arrives to the party. She brought Angie K, which is interesting, and it's a good test for Heather, because Angie K is the one that said, Jen and Heather were probably scissoring behind closed doors, and then she punched her in the eye, whatever. So she's the one that spread it.
Funniest fucking line of last year.
It was, but I could see Heather having an issue with that. It's good that Heather sees her and goes, you know what? Standing true to what I said, it's a fresh start. I need a fresh start with everybody.
I think
Let's
that's the approach that we need in this show.
Absolutely.
For sure. Do not harp on dumb things that happened last year while Jen was still around.
Last year's a wash.
Just get rid of it. Just completely throw it away.
Never happened.
And it seems like people like the fact that and I'm sure you're going to jump into this very quickly, when Meredith comes over to Lisa Barlow, like, we didn't see any of that last year.
Nope.
The one-on-one stuff makes sense. I know we always talk about hashing things out in a group, but they've tried it before. It doesn't work. Do it one-on-one. That's fucking awesome. Like, we're starting to see this group come together a little bit more and kind of put their differences aside, and we need them all together as a group. We can't have these little factions that kind of split off and then they have issues with each other or whatever. That's what Jen did. Jen drove a wedge through everyone.
Yes.
And made it impossible for it to be a good show. She's gone. You guys have to become friends. I want to watch them become friends. I want to watch them tear that friendship down. I want them to become friends again and then tear it back down. That's every show should be like that.
This is why we started this fucking
Yes.
podcast. But we get a quick check-in with Mary and Lisa, and Mary's happy to see Lisa, genuinely, and she
Yeah.
loves her jacket. Lisa shares with us the last text that was sent to her from Mary Cosby. This is their last correspondence. I wrote down just a few of my favorites. You kill people with your tequila. You're a black widow. You're a horrible human, and you're not interesting at all. And Mary's
So mean.
Mary's stoked, because in Mary's mind that never happened. Like,
Yeah.
it did, but it's as soon as something happens, Mary will move on instantly.
Calling somebody boring has to be the worst thing that you can say to someone.
Boring and not interesting are two of the more hurtful things.
I once
think.
told one of my friends that all he does is small talk and he never actually has a real conversation.
Oh,
Didn't realize how mean it was.
that's pretty fucking mean.
It was pretty mean. Yeah. We still talk. We can joke about it now.
Oh, you can? I was gonna say, you still
Yeah,
friends?
yeah, we can still joke about
Is
it.
he
now,
still
but
only small talk?
He's gotten better.
Hopefully, he doesn't listen. But Heather addresses the fractured group, and I think this was nice because to me, she's addressing everybody, not just the people on the show. She's talking to us, the audience. This group is fractured. We're all broken. You fucking broke us last year. This whole cast, you ruined it. So yeah, you know what? I was anti Salt Lake until it started drumming up, the trailer and things like that. I'm ready for a fresh start as well. I buy it. All right, Heather, I'm buying what you're selling. And you see the group start to, like you said, everyone's starting to at least approach each other, right?
Yep.
We get Whitney and Meredith. They have the weird bath talk and why Meredith is upset about it. And again, takes it way too far. Whitney even says, it was a joke. I was just being shady. And Meredith's response is, well, if you're going to be shady, well, maybe you shouldn't, blah, blah. It's like, that's what we do. This is what we do here. You take little digs, you say shady shit. It's up to you whether you're going to roll with it or cause a scene, which clearly you're going to cause a scene on this one, but you can't take it from they're gross in the bathtub to you're trying to tear down my fucking marriage.
Yeah,
it's
and
ridiculous.
It's funny because on the chopping block last year, we would have put Whitney, maybe Heather, whatever. Right now, I've got Meredith on the chopping block. Like she's
First
one
episode
episode in. Put her on the chopping block. I'm going to do this.
Seriously.
We're going to do a hot seat for this show
I like
every
that.
episode.
Hot seat right now.
Who's on the hot seat right now?
Meredith. I agree
Everybody
with
else
that.
is kind of coming together. Meredith is taking offense at some stupid shit that was said about her being in the bathtub, which was gross.
Yep.
Like that. There's no other way to put it.
Nope. And she gets upset about the Special K joke. And this is where because Heather did this last year, and I'm not even going to do this a lot. I am not going to revert to last year very often.
Yeah.
Just probably this episode. But what she did last year was say some shady stuff and then act like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. And she drops the Special K line, which we know was a point of contention last year, even though Whitney's not even the one that said Meredith was doing Special K, aka ketamine. I did see that Special K ran an ad during this episode.
Oh, that's
cereal,
funny.
which is hysterical.
Yeah,
So nice
call.
marketing there, Kellogg's. But I didn't think it was like none of this was that deep. I just think that she is so pissed about the bath thing that she's going to push any argument with Whitney.
Yeah.
While I do see Lisa and Meredith finding their way back to each other eventually, I don't think it's ever going to. They used to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen again because Lisa's found
I
her
think
voice.
Lisa's outgrown her. Yeah.
Exactly. Lisa found her voice, and I don't
Right.
think she's going to revert back to what the friendship was. And I think that's the only way it works for Meredith. But I do see them bridging the gap a little bit. I do not see this one getting smoothed over because I like Whitney and Meredith to me are too different. I don't think that they can like get along.
They're not. Yeah. Whitney's way too free spirited, and she's also trying to find her voice. And I feel like Meredith's just stuck in her old ways. Like we're not seeing her evolve.
No,
We're not seeing her do anything. Like I think that she's trying to grow back to Lisa out of survival. I don't
Oh,
think
you
she's trying to
think?
go back to Lisa because she misses Lisa.
she's looking for an
I
ally.
think she doesn't really have much. Like, yeah, you can kind of be friends with Heather, but Heather's kind of stuck right
She's
now.
friends with Mary.
She's trying to figure things out. She's friends with Mary,
She's a friend
which
of.
will help you.
It'll help. I
It'll
see
help
what
you
you're
in
saying.
arguments because Mary's going to start a lot of shit, and she's probably not going to come after you. But I feel like Mary can go after anybody that she wants.
Yeah,
So it's just, I think that she needs somebody like Lisa. She needs to be friends with Lisa because otherwise she's going to be on the outs.
I think that that's a good point. I think that it's just interesting because Whitney does apologize for the comments she made. She says, I'm sorry if that offended you. That wasn't my intention. Can we move on? Because I don't want you to hold a grudge. And Meredith's
Right.
like, I don't hold grudges. It's like, yeah,
you
you
do.
do. You hold grudges better than anybody else on a lot of the casts. Like,
Right.
that is kind of your MO is you will hold on to shit for the entire season. Look
Things
at
that
Lisa.
do not
man.
need to be held on to.
No, look at your relationship with Lisa. You
Yep.
hold on to every single thing that she's done. And granted, she said some like off-color shit on a hot mic, sure. But you carried that through all of last year.
Yep.
That's a grudge, dude. So for you to say that you don't hold grudges is crazy. So I understand why Whitney's apprehensive. Like, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But what bugs me about Meredith is when you get to that point in these conversations where the relationship is somewhat fractured and they're trying to find a way to mend the relationship, it's always on the other person. Meredith's like, I'm gonna wait and see how you respond. I'm gonna wait and see what you do to show me. It's like, what about your role? What about your part in this? I get that Whitney said something that you didn't like about the bathtub, but for a friendship to blossom, for a relationship to blossom, it's got to be both ways. It can't be, I'm going to sit and wait for you to do something. We'll see. That's bullshit. Kenya does that. I don't like that either.
Yeah.
So it's like, in this world of Housewives, in this world of Bravo, if you're going to bridge the gap, if you're going to fix friendships, if you're going to move forward, you have to have it on both sides of the spectrum here. You can't have one party trying to prove to the other party because 9 times out of 10, both people are at fault. But the last scene that we get is Shooter checking his draft status.
How'd you know I was doing that?
Because I want to check too, but we have fucking 10 minutes left. Can you shut up? But the last scene we get, and I thought it was the perfect way to end this first episode, is a snowball fight. And I myself felt better afterwards. And it's funny because in the beginning, everyone's kind of like, haha, like little light throw here, a little light throw there. Oh, we're not going to hurt anybody. One person takes it overboard and hits Lisa in the head. And I knew it was going to happen. As soon as that happens, it escalates.
It escalated in a very fun way.
In a great way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and like
That's what you need.
in a cathartic way. Like this group
Right.
definitely needed this moment. And it gets to the point where I didn't know how Angie K was going to respond. Honestly, Monica form tackles her and decks her, and then they roll down the hill. I'm like,
Good tackle.
it was a great
Good
tackle.
form.
But in my mind, I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, is this going to spark something? And no, as they're rolling down the hill, Angie K's laughing, like, oh, my hair, blah, blah. Like everyone in this moment is just letting their anger out and seemingly not getting mad at each other.
Yeah. Just having a good time.
Good.
We need it.
This whole episode was just a breath of fresh air, fresh start. But that takes us to the question portion of the show. And the way I did it, I only took RHOSLC questions because I was so excited for it to come back. We can do OC questions again next week, but let's dive right into it. And I'm going to put this one to bed right now. It's the only time I'm going to read anything about it, and we will not come back to it. And Nick Sims, this is not your fault. It's a valid question. But from Nick Sims, will we ever get the truth about the black eye? Probably not, and we don't care.
Exactly.
Okay? That's the last we're going to talk about it.
No.
Nick, that's not against you. We love you. Sorry I came off a little strong there, but no. Oh, this will go to our resident fashion guy from Rachel Valentine 20. Who the hell approved of Angie K's Little Mermaid dress for this photo? Their photo of like the cast in the beginning of the season.
Oh, I have no idea. That thing's horrendous. Thing's brutal. It's got scales on it.
There you go. We don't know. From Thursday Poems, do you think Jen Shaw's watching from prison? If she can, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that she has to. I think she has to. She's going to do it in the way that she's going to start watching it like, let's see these bitches try to earn
do
their
it
keep without me. They're not going to be able to do it. And it's going to be a really fun, loving season.
Well, I'll eat our words right now. We said, can this show go without Jen Shaw? And we both were a little hesitant.
We said no. I didn't think that they know how to survive, and it looks like they're fine.
Jen Shaw was the poison ruining this show, so we stand corrected. From B. Wolf, do you think Monica will spill any Jen Shaw tea or say she knows things but can't say it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's going to tease it all season. That's going to be her bread and butter. Are you kidding me? And that, as it should be, that's a fucking layup. You're a newbie. You've got a great hand to play. Just don't overdo it. That's going to be the issue.
Yeah, for
she
sure.
Can't overdo it. Needs to be time and place. But from Mal Hardigree, should Bravo have moved away from bringing someone affiliated with Jen? No, absolutely not. Because, well,
I don't know. I think maybe if they wanted a real clean slate, it really depends on how Monica performs. If Monica leans into the whole, I used to be close to Jen Shaw and I know information about you guys, and doesn't really spill it, doesn't really spark anything that's good, and it's just kind of annoying the whole time, then yes, absolutely stay away from Jen Shaw, go full fresh start. I think if you told me 2 weeks before the season started that Monica was this close to Jen Shaw, I would have said that's a bad idea. But after seeing her, I'm hopeful.
I am too, and here's why I don't think they should have moved entirely away. I think you need some kind of middle ground there because we need to put it to bed, right? We need to put it to bed. It's not over yet. I think that what Monica brings is the potential to give some answers, and then we can move past it entirely. Like you said, I think that the pitfall here is going to be,
I think if any
does too much.
Yeah, and I think that what she can really do is lean on the fact that she was a whistleblower.
Yeah.
She knew what Jen was up to and immediately tried to report it. If we're to believe her at her word, which is kind of tough to do on these shows, she can kind of hold other people accountable. She can look at Heather, she can look at Meredith, she can look at somebody else who might, like Angie K, who's close to Jen, and say, you must have known what was going on. I reported her as soon as I figured something out. You're close to her. She must have said something. You didn't think about it. You just kind of let her go. Are you a bad person? That would be fun.
That would be fun. All right, let's do one more. And this is a really good one. From Allison Clune NJ. I'm assuming you're from New Jersey. Would you rather take a bath with Seth or paint a half nude Justin?
Paint and half nude Justin.
Not
all
even
day.
a question.
I will paint, like, I assume painting on his body because that's what they were doing. They weren't like painting a canvas.
Yeah, no, paint his body.
Paint his body. Yeah, paint his body.
Yeah, that's not even close. Those are two very different
paint his
things.
body, and then I'd paint a canvas of him.
Yeah, and also Justin seems like a very likable character.
Yeah,
I don't want to take a bath with Seth.
Although aren't they getting divorced?
I don't know. There's
about that.
speculation.
Yeah.
We saw it from like scenes from this season that
there's issues. We'll see.
We don't like to speculate before we have the info. From what we know now, 10 times out of 10, I'm painting Justin. I am not getting in a tub with Seth.
Yep.
No. But that does it for us. Make sure you follow us on all of our socials at Brav_Bros. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at BravBros Podcast. That is by far the cleanest I've ever said that. And the most important public service announcement of the year. The Birds play on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
The Birds play on Sunday. To all of our fans,
Well, I don't
and
think
our
it's the most
listeners,
public service amount. They played in the Super Bowl like in this year.
what are you doing?
That was a PSA.
Why are you doing this?
Better PSA, probably.
What are you?
It's like second best PSA.
Okay. Anyway, birds are back on Sunday. Thanks for taking the wind out of my
Holding you accountable.
sails here. BravBros are out of here.
See ya, Victory Monday. Tuesday.
Go
I don't know.
birds.
Victory whenever.
Go birds.